A very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on Channel 1 MTV. We start off with a look at the headlines. The Minister of Health reiterates the importance of immediately seeking medical assistance if dengue symptoms are observed. Petition filed seeking a court order to conduct an election to appoint a cricket board postponed. Amnesty International calls for a UN-backed investigation into the violence in Syria. Now for those stories in detail, President Mahinda Rajapaksa met with the newly appointed Inspector General of Police N.K. Ilangakon yesterday. The meeting was held at the President's house in Kandy. Here, the 33rd IGP of the country presented a memento to the President subsequent to a cordial discussion. The Minister of Health has reiterated the importance of immediately seeking medical assistance if dengue symptoms are observed. Issuing a release, the Minister of Health has said that since people don't have a proper understanding of the dengue symptoms, there are delays in seeking treatment. It adds that when the patients are in critical condition, it is difficult for the doctors to treat them. The Ministry urges the public to seek a prompt medical attention if they develop signs of high fever, headaches, a pain under the eyes, muscles and joint pains, red marks on the skin, nausea or lack of appetite. The petition filed seeking a court order to conduct an election to appoint a cricket board was postponed until the 28th of November. When the petition was called up before the Supreme Court today, the former members of the Cricket Interim Committee, who have been named as respondent in the case, requested court to remove them as respondents.
The attorneys appearing for the respondents informed court that the Minister of Sports has taken steps to dissolve the Cricket Interim Committee and appoint a new interim committee. The Deputy Solicitor General, who appeared on behalf of the Minister, informed court that the Minister of Sports has publicly announced that an election will be conducted to appoint a cricket board. However, the counsel appearing for the petitioner said that since dates to conduct the election have not been decided on as yet, he is not agreeable to withdraw the petition. This fundamental rights petition has been filed by the president of United Southern Sports Club, Ashoka Mendis. In his petition, he points out that the cricket sport in this country has suffered immensely owing to irregularities and financial fraud. The petitioner has sought action to be taken against these irregularities and financial frauds. The petitioner has also requested court to call for an election to appoint a cricket board as opposed to an interim committee.
The Minister of Coconut Development says that the coconut harvest in the country has dropped by 17% owing to the mitre disease. Minister Jagat Pushpakumar, speaking in News First, said that coconut trees in the dry zone have mostly fallen victim to this disease. The mitre disease has mostly spread in the Trincomalee, Polonnaruwa and Anuradhapura areas in the dry zone and in the Mundragala, Ampara, Mathura and Hambantota districts. Minister of Coconut Development and State Plantation Development, Jagat Pushpakumar, said that they have identified a method to counter the mitre disease. 20 laboratories are to be set up to carry out research into this method. Minister noted that a 5% drop in coconut harvest can be directly attributed to the mitre disease. However, he added that this situation too could be remedied within a year. Area residents charge that they have been severely inconvenienced by the polluted water that is flowing out of the Maharagama weekly fair over a number of years.
Pedestrians who use the Maharagama Public Library Road are severely affected owing to this. They charge that as the water which gushes out of the Maharagama weekly fair is polluted, pedestrians face numerous difficulties. It is similar to a cesspit which is 5 to 6 years old. We have informed the authorities, but our calls have fallen on deaf ears. Thousands travel along this road, including small children and school students. The water is gushing out of the sewage system. When news first made inquiries from the chairman of the Health and Environment Committee of the Maharagama Urban Council, Councillor Saman Senadira said that steps have already been taken to provide a concrete solution for this problem. The water that gushes out from the vehicle fare is not water from the sewage system, but the water that is used to wash vegetables and fruits. There are close to 300 shops, hence a certain amount of water spills over every day. The Urban Council has now begun the necessary work regarding this. You could see that we have already made a huge ditch and begun work to provide a solution for this. We have already begun work on constructing a drain.
Minister Susui Premjayanta says that the Secretary to the Ministry of Petroleum Industries, Titus Jawardena, has been transferred to the Ministry of Public Administration and Home Affairs. He added that this transfer came into effect yesterday. Minister Premjayanta went on to state that the transfer was made by the Ministry of Public Administration and Home Affairs. The red-tailed black shark variety of fish has been successfully bred naturally for the first time in Sri Lanka. This fish, which is black in color with a dark red rear fin, is in high demand among ornamental fish enthusiasts. Teshan Wevage, a resident of the Kumbalagama area in Mathura, says that he was able to successfully and naturally breed this fish variety after he conducted experiments over a number of years. However, at present, this fish variety is bred using artificial methods and imported to the country.
On the 22nd of last month, I was able to successfully breed them for the first time. This was at my hatchery in Mathura. So far, I have successfully bred around 4,000 to 5,000 fish.
Senior lecturer at the Department of Fisheries and Aquaculture at the University of Brunei, Dr. K.R. Gamge, says that this development will bolster ornamental fish industry in the country. Even the National Aquacultural Development Authority is saying that this is the first time that a large number of fish have been naturally bred. If we can breed a lot of fish naturally, that is what is most important for the development of the industry. That is because if you use artificial methods or hormones, a large cost must be incurred. A woman has been killed on the Palugaswaba Road in the Ukkalakulama area in Anuradhapura after being attacked by a wild elephant. According to the police, the woman had been attacked as she was returning home early this morning after keeping watch over her cultivation. The police stated that they have made arrangements to transport the corpse of the victim to the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital. Making headlines in the global arena, Amnesty International calls for a UN-backed investigation into the violence in Syria, and a twin bomb blast on a government building in Baghdad kills 35. Amnesty International has called for a UN-backed investigation into the violence in Syria, saying the regime's crackdown on pro-democracy protesters may constitute crimes against humanity. The group has documented several cases of torture, deaths in custody and arbitrary detention in a new report. All relate to a military sweep in the northern village of Tel Kahik in May. Amnesty International says that UN Security Council must refer Syria to the International Criminal Court in The Hague. Syrian human rights groups have said that more than 1,350 civilians and 350 security forces personnel have been killed across the country since protests began in mid-March against the repressive rule of President Bashar al-Assad, who is fighting off the most serious challenge to his family's 4 decades in power. A double bomb attack on a government building in a town near Iraq's capital, Baghdad, has killed at least 35 people and wounded dozens. The first device exploded in the car park of the municipal office in Taji, 20 kilometers north of Baghdad. After people rushed to the scene, a car bomb was detonated remotely. Earlier, a rocket attack killed 5 people in the city's heavily fortified green zone. June has been the deadliest month this year for Iraqi civilians, official figures show, with frequent attacks targeting local government buildings in addition to targeted strikes on Iraqi police and security forces personnel. The government has blamed Al-Qaeda for the attacks, but the US military says that Iranian-backed militants are responsible for the violence, which also claimed the lives of 14 US soldiers last month. Well, Sri Lankan cricketer Kumar Sangakkara has said that there is no greater pride than walking on to the cricket field with a test cap on and playing against the best sides in the world. He also answered a question asked about former Sri Lankan cricketer Muthaiya Muralidharan's success as a cricketer. He made these comments at a panel discussion which was held after he delivered the MCC-covered Spirit of Cricket lecture at Lord's.
Well, I think arriving in England a little late, again, we are contracted to the cricket board, and every single contract we sign with the IPL is subordinate to our national contracts. And we were just waiting for the board to tell us, come on the 8th, we'd come on the 8th, come on the 10th, we'll come on the 10th. The board needs to tell us exactly when they want us here, and when the squad meets together to train. At the same time, I believe that if you're a cricketer of any worth, the format you must aspire to play is Test cricket. At the end of your career, no one's going to talk about how much money you made or you were sold off at an auction for, but they will talk about your wickets and the runs you've scored. And there is no greater pride than walking out there with your Test cap on and playing against the best sides in the world. But at the same time, to add to that, I think 2020 cricket, it's great. The money is good for the players and for the boards. Why not use that to sustain Test cricket if it... No, I think at the initial stages, I wasn't a part of the team when he was first called. But Murray has told me that at that time, he felt as if his career was over. He felt that that was the last ball he'll ever bowl, and that he'll never be able to play cricket again. But the one thing he appreciated and what brought him back, he said, was the support he received from the team and Arjuna and the people. And for him, that was the one thing that gave him the courage to get tested, not just once, but over and over again. And once in Australia, there was this biomechanist who wrote an article saying, well, Murray bowls his doosra at this speed, he must be chucking it. And the next day when we turned up for training, we couldn't find Murali. He turns up in the evening, and I asked him where he went. He said, I just went to meet that guy, and I just offered him the opportunity to test me. And I was thinking, well, are you mad? But for Murali, that was also a motivating factor to prove everyone wrong, to show what he could do, that he could do it well.
Well, Sri Lanka cricket team manager Anurath Hinakone says that the team will remain unchanged for today's match against England at Trenchbed. Sri Lanka currently lead the 5-match ODI series 2-1.
Light rain here at Tate Bridge, Nottinghamshire, and the weather report says that it will rain from time to time. Hopefully, we will get a full game of cricket. The team for today's contest remains the same as the last match. That changes because a winning combination is always useful to carry forward. As for Dinesh Chandimal, he is full of confidence after the fine century he made in the Lord's one-day game, and I'm sure he will carry this confidence to today's game as well and do well in it.
Well, with that, we wrap up this edition of Lunchtime News, but be sure to join us on our early updates. Until then, take care.